But they're making the TV show basically about Will Graham, and Hannibal's in jail, and he goes to see him. Now, brought it up earlier before you got here, Jim, and Tom said, not interested. I think those were your exact words.
Yeah.
So, just based on the idea...
I don't have any interest in any of the Hannibal stuff at all.
Did you see any of the movies?
I've seen The Lambs, not anytime recently, but I saw it, and I liked it, but I also thought, yeah, and that's probably as much of that as I need.
It is a good... well, obviously it's a great movie.
Because so much of it, I mean, that really was a case where this guy did a thing, and it was popular, and they kept making him do it.
Right. Yeah. Well, the last book is a case in point. The last book in the last movie, I guess it was, because he was in the middle of writing the book while they were trying to make it into a script, and it was like, hurry up and finish the book so we can make this movie, because they knew it was.
Wow.
It was going to be.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And the last movie was not very good. Well, I guess that wasn't the last movie. The last one was called Hannibal Rising. Did anybody see that?
No.
It was about a young Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, I did see that.
Oh, did
yes,
you?
I did. Yeah. Not great.
Not so great.
Yeah,
obviously.
not so great. I did see it.
Because you didn't even remember.
But I felt bad when you sent that link. I saw it. I don't know who Hugh Dancy is.
I've heard of him, but I don't know that I've seen him anything. He's an English guy, I know that.
I don't know who he is. I like the premise. I mean, some of those movies I loved.
Well, I remember watching Manhunter because obviously that was what's his name? Michael Mann directed that. I'm a huge fan of his. But I remember watching it, and I like Wayne Peterson, and I remember thinking, this is a kind of a weird movie, but it was dark, and it was kind of weird, and it was a little, cheap and budgety. And then when Silence of the Lambs came out, obviously, that's a great movie, and everybody loves it, and it's brilliant. But I remember thinking, when someone told me, this is like based on the same characters, I was like, oh, yeah, that's the guy, because it was a different actor. It was, who was it in the first one? Brian Cox played Hannibal in the first one. So you kind of have to make that connection, but I went, oh, right. And then when they remade it, I didn't like that so much. Did you guys see that one, The Red Dragon?
No.
It was Ed Norton and Ralph Fiennes played the bad guy. But then still, Hannibal Lecter was in it. And I was just not crazy about it. But do you think, I guess this is my question, when the movie came out and it won a bunch of Oscars, everybody loved it and it was great, and then it spawned all these other movies and more books. Is that interest still around to make a TV show? Are people still going to be interested in it to watch a TV show?
And the reason I don't think so is similar to Rocky. The first Rocky is a great movie.
Right.
It's an Oscar-winning movie, right?
Sure.
All the other Rockies are not that.
Right.
Similarly, that movie is Silence of the Lambs is such a good movie. It's a self-contained, fantastic film. It doesn't need any of the other films. I'm not saying the other films aren't good. I'm just saying that the other films are just unnecessary. Like with Rocky, some of the Rockies are very good. The second one I think is very entertaining. But it shows you something that it's such a fan sort of thing to do. We want to see him win. So let's make the other movie. And I get it. We all like to make money. I've heard people like to make money. This hasn't happened to me, but I've heard that this happens.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But there's none of those things are necessary. Now, similarly to when finally he makes a Rocky movie so many years later, and you're like, okay, old man Rocky's boxing. That movie didn't make a ton of money.
Although it was a really good movie. I loved it. Rocky Balboa.
I finally saw it on TV. It was fine.
I liked it a lot.
Cool.
But, yeah, that's not...
So I don't know that there really is a big appetite for it. Plus...
an appetite for a Hannibal movie? Shit.
Wow.
How do you do it?
You went all the way around to get to that. Good for you.
Nice job.
Wow.
Bruce.
But what are they making this for? ABC?
I don't know. I didn't read the article.
But like anything, no matter what it's based on, if it's a good quality and it's interesting stories, people will tune in. I don't care that it's based on whatever.
But that's actually the saddest part, because say it is really good, despite, whatever nonsense, and then people don't watch it.
Because of,
That's the heartbreak, because people go, I don't want to see that. I mean, there will be people who won't watch it just because it's not Anthony Hopkins.
Right.
And they go, who is this guy? Because they haven't announced who's
That's why I don't watch anything.
Unless it's Anthony Hopkins?
Yep.
Wow.
I don't watch anything.
You're developed.
What about stuff that Anthony Hopkins is actually in?
No, because he's not Anthony Hopkins.
What?
Like I said, there's something wrong with me.
Oh,
that
dude.
doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, that's fine.